Good morning and welcome to Tuesday morning's top story. With the election looming, inching towards us day by day, of course, some of the issues that we're hoping here at ONNtv you've heard about through us and other mediums are, of course, making sure that the taxes don't go up. That's a big campaign promise. Another one is what's happening with the steel plant here in the city. Youth out-migration is another issue. And another issue that is on probably the top of a lot of lists is jobs here in Sault Ste. Marie. So joining us this morning live is Jonathan Coulman. Jonathan is the Executive Director of the Algoma Workforce Investment Corporation. Good of you to join us. How are you?
I'm good.
Good, good. Now, Jonathan, tell me what the corporation is. What do you do?
Well, we're a not-for-profit, and we're a workforce planning board. So we're actually one of 25 workforce planning boards around the province. And we do labor market research for the District of Algoma. So obviously that includes Sault Ste. Marie, but it's also all the other communities around Sault Ste. Marie. So what we actually do is we gather labor market information, analyze that data, and then present it back out to our audiences or stakeholders. So really the information we gather is used by students, teachers, guidance counselors on what jobs are in demand now, what skills are in demand, and also looking at trends going into the future. For employers, we'd work with employers on how to find talent and also look at attraction and retention of staff. And then also we work with the individual communities, so make sure they understand their local labor markets. And what kind of trends are impacting the local communities.
So tell me a little bit more about the fact that you're nonprofit. That sort of surprises me. And the fact that there's so many of you throughout the province. How are you sustained?
Okay, so we're actually funded through the Ministry of Training Colleges and Universities. So we're part of Employment Ontario.
Okay.
So we're part of the family of career centers. And we also are connected to universities and colleges. So the idea being, obviously, we're identifying trends, skills gaps, things like that are impacting the workforce, and then we're communicating that through our network or through our family, again, through the career centers and into the colleges and universities.
I think it's awesome that you sort of play to both audiences. People who are looking for work and employers as well to sort of keep everybody up to speed. Is it difficult to gather that information?
Yes, it is difficult. Getting data like StatsCan data in our region, because we have smaller populations, we don't have the same access to data that communities like with a larger population would have. So for example, a lot of people think of the labor market, they'll think of our unemployment rate and participation rates. We can get those for Sault Ste. Marie, for example, on a monthly basis, but in other communities around Algoma, we just don't have that data just because of the size of population. So we do a lot of gathering data directly from employers to try to help inform our analysis and our decision and our reports.
So like a business in Echo Bay, for instance, you're actually calling those businesses?
Yeah, so in the past we've done employer surveys, so we'll survey employers in all sectors around Algoma to get information directly from them. So what kind of challenges are they having in finding a workforce, what kind of skills are they looking for, and we'll get that directly from employers. And then we'll also do sector-by-sector analysis. So last year, for example, or actually I guess earlier in this year, we just released a report on the healthcare sector in Algoma. So we worked primarily with healthcare employers, again in Sault Ste. Marie and in Algoma, and tried to paint a picture of, okay, these are the workforce issues that they're facing, in particular in healthcare.
I think it's awesome that you found a way around the lack of information, for lack of a better way of putting it, and go direct to the source.
Yes, well, we need to.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Not everybody wakes up and thinks, I want to do a survey today. Employers are helpful, but employers are doing what they need to do to keep their business
Sure.
going or keep their service operating, and a survey on top of that. Is an extra ask, but so we do have to do a lot of following up and to get them done. But it's just basically grunt work, and,
Right, it's got to be
and
done.
You got to get it done, yeah.
Absolutely. Tell us about trends, because you talked about that a couple of times. With regards to Sault Ste. Marie Algoma specifically, what trends are affecting employment now?
Yeah, well, I'd say the biggest trend that is having an impact right now on our workforce, and will continue to have an impact, is just our aging population. So the median age of Sault Ste. Marie is 49 years old, so that basically means half the population is older and half the population is younger. So that's actually the median age of the province is 41. So we're older in Northern Ontario. We're above average, yeah, in age. But when you translate that to the workforce, that means we have an older workforce. So, what we're seeing, now is you have people that are leaving the workforce, and we don't have as many people available, coming into the workforce, and that's really a demographic situation. So, if you think back, to the days of the population pyramid, so that's, traditionally how we'd visualize our populations. It was called the pyramid because, generally when we started doing that kind of analysis, there were more younger people than there were older people. Well, in Sault Ste. Marie, we have more of a population fire hydrant. So it's sort of skinny at the bottom and then, it kind of mushrooms out at the top. So, for demographically and in our workforce, the bottom line is for the next, 10 to 15 years, and even now, for every 2 people leaving the workforce, we really only have 1 person available coming in, just based on our demographics.
So is that a good picture to offer and pitch jobs to people who don't live in the Sault to come?
Right. So from a organizational standpoint, so from a company's standpoint, it means that it's a very competitive job market for talent. So manufacturing, trades, healthcare, all these sectors are aging. So companies and organizations are really competing for talent, having a harder time finding the talent they need or the people they need. For the community, yes, we definitely need to look at ways to get more people into Sault Ste. Marie. So how do you get more migration in? And also, how do you make sure we keep everybody here? We do need to keep
because our kids graduate and take
here.
off.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a multifaceted challenge. And as I said, it's the biggest trend that's having an impact on employers. Employers are feeling it right now. And our community is also feeling it. So that's why, attraction and retention, those are community strategies, and they're also, individual organizational strategies.
And as you mentioned, community strategies, I assume you're thinking about quality of life and why do you want to live in Sault Ste. Marie, and we have this to offer, that sort of thing.
Right, yeah, the thing to keep in mind is, we're competing as well with other jurisdictions. So Northern Ontario has a similar demographic, pattern to Algoma and to Sault Ste. Marie. So you're competing with other communities, and even Ontario. So when I said Ontario, the median age was 41. It's also aging.
It is sure.
As well.
It's a trend.
So it is competitive. So the attraction into the community. You definitely need to have the opportunities and jobs. I think that's what most people, need to have in order to move. And then obviously then we have to have that whole picture
Right.
of holistically what does it look like living here and the advantages and things like that. And we can be obviously very competitive on
Sure,
that front.
absolutely. So with regards to the whole picture, do you feel like there's a skills gap as well in Sault Ste. Marie, aside from the demographics? Are there enough people who are qualified for the jobs that are being offered in the Sault?
Well, I would say no, because I mean there are positions that are going unfilled. So there is that tension, and there simply aren't enough people around. So again, I mentioned construction, so trades or manufacturing. There are specific skills there, but there just simply aren't enough people. So part of it is also the mindset of employers. Certainly in a job market like this, they're going to have to but come around to really embracing training and developing of talent internally. So, you might hire someone based on their attitude or their sort of essential
Personality,
skills,
right.
yeah, like willingness to learn, and then develop that person. Which then hopefully would lead to a loyal person that you can retain and then move on. I think a lot of people's perception of training is, what if I train someone and they leave? And the old saying is, well, what if you don't train someone and they stay? So there really is, there's not one simple solution,
No.
and there's not one group
Such a ripple
that
effect.
can do it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it really needs to be sort of the whole group of people working together, whether it's training, high schools, colleges,
Right.
university, plus employers, plus the city, plus the parents, plus the students.
I'm so glad you're taking care of this.
Oh yeah, we got it. We got
You're
it
on
all
it, no
covered. Yeah,
problem.
we'll have the answer on Thursday.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, by the way. This was really informative. I appreciate your time.
Great, thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.
We'll be back with more Top Story right after this.